There was not a single time Yamal squared up with an Inter defender in either leg across this tie, and I expected them to stop him. The worst thing about this Barcelona choke job is that what he did in those two legs isn't going to be as remembered as it should be. Shout out to Inter for coming out on top, and especially shout out Dumfries, because what he did was superhuman. 2 goals and 3 assists across 2 legs. This guy didn't have a single goal contribution in the entire competition so far, bruh. He was saving them up specifically for Barca. His partner on the other side was going through it, though. Yamal was deadass using DeMarco as a lawnmower. There's no way he came out of either game without carpet bearing. He got dropped like 3 times in each match. He was already getting double teamed off rip in the first leg, but the second leg, they started backing out triple teams and he was still gliding through them. At one point in extra time, I was like, he gotta have like 10 dribbles or something by now. I looked it up and he was sitting on 13, bruh. And the game wasn't even over yet. Finishing is quite literally the only weakness in his game at 17. And if we're being for real, a lot of his shots on goal weren't even bad. Sommer just decided to lose his mind and make the most ridiculous collection of saves I've seen in one game this season. He deadass erased what would have been one of the greatest performances in the history of the sport. I don't know if it's just because we're getting used to it from Yamal and everybody was desensitized, or because a lot of the Barca haters were just getting their licks in yesterday. But what he did in these 2 legs should be getting glazed way more whether he lost or not. Listen to this shit, bro. A goal, 20 dribbles completed out of 31 attempted, 31 out of 51 ground duels won. I'm gonna say that again. 31 out of 51 ground duels won across these 2 legs. 3 chances created, 7 shots on target. If I was him, I'm putting a hit out on Sommer as soon as I step out the San Siro. Me and him would have had to rumble, bro. I'm sorry. He just snatched the ultimate legacy game away from him. We really don't see dual numbers like those anymore, and it's the main reason everybody says football has gotten more boring. That's the one thing I'll never argue about when it comes to the generation debate, because I slightly do agree with that specific part. Is it probably tactically better to keep possession and keep passing back? Sure. Is it probably tactically worse for your winger to charge headfirst into dribble attempts no matter the situation every time? Sure. But it's entertaining as fuck? Yeah. Would I rather watch that? Hell yeah. Every time they slid the ball over to him on the wing and I saw DeMarco or Augusto or even Bastoni lining up against him, I stood up because I knew somebody was about to get barbecued. That's what the sport is about at the end of the day. I remember when SofaScore released their stats and ratings for every Champions League game since about 2004, and it really put into perspective just how much the game has changed. The duel numbers used to be fucking insane because of ping pong football and players just rushing headfirst into every single duel. It was chaotic and far less controlled than modern football, sure, but it gave us countless classic games like these 2 Barca ones, and it was because of players like Yamal. I remember a while ago, the first time I went back and watched the full Arsenal-Madrid tie from 2006, I was like, what the fuck? Because Henry genuinely had like 35 duels at Highbury. It was very normal for elite wingers back then to have like 15 to 20 duels per game on average. Yes, they'd lose the ball a lot, but they'd also create the most danger, and the moment that fear of losing the ball started to take over the sport, the more the excitement started to dim a little bit. After the first leg against Inter, there was the usual contrarians who came out talking about, oh, Yamal wasn't that good, he lost the ball hella times, while ignoring the fact that he was double and triple teamed throughout the whole 90 by one of the best defenses in Europe and still managed to be the most dangerous player on the pitch. In the 2006 Champions League final against Arsenal, Ronaldinho lost the ball 26 times, but he completed 10 dribbles and won 16 duels. That game against United where Messi completed 16 dribbles and won 25 duels, he lost the ball 22 times. That game against Arsenal in 2011 where he scored twice and completed 10 dribbles, he lost the ball 27 times. We don't talk about the other bullshit that happened in that game. Let's act like that never happened. The point is, that's what happens when you get jumped every time you have the ball. Yamal is always going to be the most dangerous player on the pitch, which means he's always going to get jumped. Simple. It was a tough loss for him after everything he did, but it's definitely going to be a learning experience. For one thing, he probably makes better decisions in some of the situations he was in late in the game in the future, like that shot where he hit the post. He probably also needed this loss for motivation purposes, but let's be real, he's been doing a lot of winning for his age. The Euros, 2 trophies on Madrid's dome already, all kinds of awards. He doesn't really have a major disappointment on his resume yet. The Barca team that lost to PSG last season didn't have the expectation that this year's Barca has. Hopefully he uses it as fuel, because him coming back better next season would be even scarier. I saw that whole Yamal at 17 versus Mbappe at 17 argument a little while ago on my timeline, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't see why there's a debate. By the time Mbappe turned 18 in December of the 2016-17 season, he hadn't done much of anything yet. His breakout came in the second half of that season when he was already 18. Even if we include the rest of that season after Mbappe turned 18, he still doesn't exactly match up to Yamal at 17 in my opinion. He wasn't anywhere near as consistent despite playing in Ligue 1, and Yamal is a far more polished dribbler, passer, and playmaker. All 18-year-old Mbappe really has on him is speed and finishing. That's just my opinion though. I feel like Yamal is currently at a level that no other 17 or even 18-year-old in the last 40 years has touched. I cut it off there because I've barely watched any of 18-year-old Pele and Maradona outside of things like those iconic World Cup games, so it's hard to really speak on them. Most of the other all-time greats at this age showed their flashes throughout the season, like Messi against Madrid at the Bernabeu in like 2005, or later on in that season against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Even he didn't have Yamal's consistency at that age though, and he also wasn't anywhere near the passer that he later became yet. We talked about this a little while ago in that video about 17-year-old Messi versus 17-year-old Yamal. As for Inter, shout out Inzaghi, bro. This is not even close to a super team, bro. Matter of fact, it's as far from a super team as you usually can get this late in the competition. He's done a ridiculous job. The Ballon d'Or argument gets a lot more interesting now, but Rafinha still had an all-time UCL campaign. I'm pretty sure he tied Ronaldo's record for most contributions in a single Champions League season. If they hold on to La Liga, he's probably still the front runner with Yamal, Salah, Dembele, Pedri, and a few others not far behind him. PSG potentially winning the treble definitely flips things a lot, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it is getting to that time in the semester where finals are getting crazy, so I have been posting less, but I'm almost done. I'm almost out of there, y'all. We almost done. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm gonna see y'all real soon. Safety.